So the very first thing that I think of is how do you generate momentum? So you're all looking at this thing saying like, how do I generate momentum for this thing? I know what the movement is. I know what I'm trying to push to do. But how do I generate momentum? And of course, being the engine nerd that I am, momentum is a physics term. And momentum is rho equals mass times velocity. Okay. Rho equals mass times velocity. And so that's momentum. And how do I translate that into this world? Is to think about mass is effort. So if you think about your movement, the thing that you need to do, what effort do you need to put against it? And velocity is how fast it moves. And velocity is distance over time. Okay, distance over time. So if you think about this, and I'm going to use Amber yours as an example of this. So how much effort does it take to sustain this thing? So momentum, the definition of momentum is sustained energy required to keep an object moving. The sustained energy to keep an object moving. And so thinking about that too, for Amber and Nate, when you guys were both, you have day jobs and this is kind of a hobby thing, it's really hard to sustain momentum on this thing because the problem is that you can't sustain the effort. So in that sense, using this formula, the mass isn't there, the effort. And the effort isn't constant. And the other thing about this, what I love about this, there's three elements to momentum: mass, velocity, and that little tilde on top is really important. Yeah, velocity is distance over time, but that tilde is direction. Direction. So when you have this thing on the side, you focus on this and then that thing and then this thing and then that thing and then that other little thing. And another thing looks really big, so you spend a little bit of time on that, and then that drops off for a couple of months, and then you can pick that back up. Does this sound familiar? Right? And it's not just for your thing, it's also at work too. So I use this at work as well. So if I think about mass as effort and velocity is distance over time, the distance then, I kind of think of that as actions and or decisions that you make. So what's the speed of action? What's the speed of the decisions that you make to move this thing forward? And of course, time is just time. And then the direction. And I like the tilde part of this too. And I used this example when I was in Machu Picchu, and I've used this actually in corporate too. If you're in a room and everybody's in a room and you say, okay, here's why direction's important. If I put a big ball in the middle of the room right now and everybody stood up and pushed on the ball, where would the ball go? Nowhere. Because because everybody's pushing in a different direction. So another piece of this thing that's really important is, are you pulling the thing in the same direction? And are the people around you pulling and pushing in the same direction? And for the change folks on Team Paul and Amber, you've seen this a lot, right? It's like lots of effort, but the directions are all over the place. So you're just not getting the momentum that you're looking for. Is this making sense for everybody? I love this application to, this physics application to this kind of world because it really does directly apply.